Imagine a ship the size of a city just parks itself over your town, and the entire planet loses its mind. Governments scramble. News anchors cry live on air. And then the aliens open their mouths or whatever they have and make a sound. Nobody on Earth understands a single piece of it. Nobody. Except you. You. The random person who is just trying to have a normal Tuesday. For some reason, your brain, and only your brain, clicks with whatever these beings are saying. Scientists test everyone. Linguists, code breakers, that one guy who speaks 9 languages. Nothing. Then you walk in, and suddenly the sounds arrange themselves into meaning in your head, like your whole life was secretly a tutorial for this moment. Congratulations! You are now the only translator between humanity and an intelligent species from somewhere out there. No pressure. So let's talk about how insanely good your life just got. Because at first, this is the greatest flex in the history of flexes. You go from anonymous to the single most important human alive. Overnight, presidents call your phone, not their assistants. Them. You get flown across the world in jets that don't have a middle seat. You sit at tables where every leader on Earth is leaning in, and every single one of them needs you. World's smartest scientists, biggest armies, richest billionaires, and the whole thing runs through one person. You. You're the bottleneck of history. Every question humanity has ever screamed at the night sky, you get to ask directly. Are you alone in the universe? Ask them, is there a cure for that thing? Ask them, how does their tech work? Do they have art? Do they have music? Do they get sad? You have the only key to the biggest door ever, and it fits in your mouth. The aliens seem chill, by the way. That helps. They came in peace, they say, and you're the one who gets to tell the planet that, which basically means you just saved 8 billion people from a panic-induced meltdown with a single sentence. You're a hero, and you didn't even do anything except exist correctly. Books written about you, statues. Your face on money, probably. You are living the ultimate main character fantasy, and honestly, for about a week it rules, and then you sit down to actually do the job. And that's where it gets weird. Because here's the thing nobody warned you about. You're not translating. Not really. The first time it hits you is small. The aliens say something, and there's a concept in the middle of it that just doesn't exist in any human language. Not a hard word. A word with no match. Like they have a single sound that means the grief you feel for a future that hasn't happened yet. And you're standing in a room full of the most powerful people on the planet, and they're all staring at you, waiting, and you have to pick. Do you say sadness? That's wrong. Do you explain the whole thing? That takes a paragraph, and by then they've said 40 more words. Every sentence that you're choosing, and every choice bends the meaning a little. And it goes both ways. A president tells you, tell them we come in peace, but we're prepared to defend ourselves. Simple, right? Except the aliens might not have a concept of a defense that's separate from attack. Maybe in their language, those are the same word. So the thing you say to them isn't the thing the president said. It's your best guess. Filtered through a mind that grew up on this planet, with these assumptions, this history. You're not a wire passing a message, you're a mind rebuilding it. And you can't ever fully turn that off. This is the part that keeps you up at night. Because you slowly realize that everything both species learn about each other, the fear, the trust, the hope, all of it, flows through the shape of your interpretation. If you soften something, peace holds. If you translate something a little too cold, a little too suspicious, maybe someone reaches for a weapon. 2 entire civilizations meeting for the first time. and the whole relationship is being quietly drawn by one exhausted person's word choices. That's not a superpower anymore. That's a weight. And here's the deeper thing, the part that's actually true whether aliens ever show up or not. We tend to think language is like a delivery service. You have a thought, you wrap it in words, you hand it over. The other person unwraps the exact same thought. Clean. Lossless. But it was never like that. Language isn't a box that carries meaning. Language is more like the shape meaning grows into. The words you have change the thoughts you're able to think. This isn't sci-fi. It's a real idea that linguists have argued about for a century, sometimes called linguistic relativity. The rough version, the language you speak nudges how you see the world. And you can actually watch it happen between humans right now. Some languages don't split blue and green into two words, they have one word covering both, and speakers genuinely sort those colors differently than you do. There's an Aboriginal Australian language, Gugu Yimithir, that doesn't really use left and right. Everything is north, south, east, west. So the people who speak it have to always know which way they're facing, and they just do. Their sense of direction is wild because their language demands it. Different words, different world, same planet. So think about what that means for the aliens. They didn't evolve on Earth. Different senses, different history, maybe they don't even experience time the way you do. The gap between you and them isn't measured in light years. The distance that actually matters is the distance between two minds trying to mean the same thing. And that distance? It was never really about space at all. Here's the part that hits hardest. You don't need a spaceship to feel this. You feel it every single day and you barely notice. You ever try to describe a feeling to someone and just couldn't? The words showed up wrong, too small, missing the middle of it. You ever have a fight that was really just two people using the same word to mean two different things? I said I was fine. You said you were fine. Yeah, that's the alien problem in a kitchen with someone you love. We're all standing in that room, all the time, trying to hand each other a thought and hoping it arrives in one piece. Most of the time it doesn't, not fully. And the miracle isn't that we speak the same language. The miracle is that even a little of it gets through it all. That two separate minds sealed inside two separate skulls can reach across the gap and go, yeah, me too, I get it. That's the closest thing to magic humans have, and we use it to argue about the dishes. The alien translator fantasy sounds like the story about being special, about being the chosen one with the secret key. But sit with it long enough and it flips into something quieter and way more real. It's a story about how hard and how precious it is to truly understand anyone. Even the people right next to you, especially them. So maybe the question was never really, could you talk to aliens? Maybe it's this. If you were the first human ever handed the responsibility of speaking for all of us, of choosing the very first words we'd ever say to another form of life in the universe, what would you actually say? Not the cool movie answer. The real one. Would it be a warning, a question, an apology? Just hi? And be honest with yourself for a second. Do you even trust yourself to say it right when half the time we can't get through to the person sitting across the table at dinner? Tell me your first sentence down in the comments. The whole planet's counting on you, so make it good. I'm reading every single one.